So David, we finished pre-season today with a 1-0 win over Bradford Park Avenue. Before sort of talking about today's game, just thoughts on pre-season as a whole. It's been an interesting break for you all, I suppose.
Yeah, it's been a different pre-season because we've refreshed the squad, we've turned it over, we've got a lot of new players, we had a lot of trialists through. I missed the first 2 weeks of pre-season, which I don't normally do, so that's been very different from my perspective. I've got a great team around me though, with Phil and Johnny and Alex. So I trust their judgment, and actually I think what we've pulled together is a really good squad. I think we've got 20 players now signed on, and we've seen progression. There's still work to do, but we've seen progression. I think what we've got is a good squad, an energetic squad, a lot of quality in it, and ready to go into the season, which is what pre-season's about. So it served its objective. It's been bumpy, but it served its objective.
And like I said, you've lost quite a few players in the summer, some that you wanted to, some that you didn't, but feel confident the players you brought in are starting to take shape and get used to the way you want them to play now. Yeah,
I think we saw today with the side that played and the subs that came on and the impact that they had, that we've got a good group. We had 16 today, a couple missing, but we had a really good shape about us today. I thought we had good energy about us today. And that's what we want to be this season. We want to be a side that's energetic, that's got legs, that works hard for each other. We've put a lot of focus on solidity, and today we saw much more in possession than we've probably seen in the last few games as well. So we've got 2 training sessions before the FA Cup. We've got a couple of training sessions then before the league starts. I think with that and the group and players who want to play, who want to improve, want to get better, who listen and take feedback on board, I feel like we've got as good a squad as we could have assembled here this season.
And I'll let you do the news. We normally announce new signings on our website and everything, but trialist number 9 today, you've signed him up. Do you want to talk about him?
Yeah, so Eric came in, he messaged me and asked, actually got hold of me through LinkedIn, and I don't really check LinkedIn very often, and when I got back into work after being on holidays, eventually got down to an email that was his message, and had a look at it and got in contact with him. He's played around this level a lot. He's got good experience. He's played abroad professionally as well. And I thought, given he's had a bit of a disjointed pre-season, so he's not sharp. I thought, really today he offered a lot in the 60 minutes he played. I thought his movement was good. I thought his hold-up play was good. He won the penalty with a bit of clever movement, and a player who will only get better with training. So we agreed terms with after the game, and should have everything through ready for him to be available for next week at Cole.
And I think if you go back last season, most people said last season, people watching, how much we missed Mason Fawns.
Yeah.
How good is it to have him back, and not a bad penalty to finish off pre-season?
A very good penalty, and Mason's great from a lot of reasons. He's got a bit of magic, he's got a bit of cleverness, he's got unreal ability. But actually, his impact in the dressing room is really positive. He's in that leadership group. He drives standards. We've got a really good group of probably 6 senior players and he's one of them who really are kind of getting players around them. And when you've got young players like Remy and Sean, Louis, even Jack Marrow and Casper, you need those more experienced players to really help them develop, and I think we've got that really good balance, and Mason's a massive part of that. And his work rate's phenomenal. I think sometimes you don't expect that from a player like Mason, but the number of times he tracked back today, he was winning balls deep in his half, and he was tying up on the edge of the area, and he seems to be enjoying his football. He's playing with a smile on his face, giving us a good view of those teeth. That cost him so much, so he's good to see.
And you spoke a lot about the youth of the squad and bringing in a lot of young players with a lot of energy. You also brought in Michael Brewster, a bit older, but definitely a character, but also very good player. Thoughts on that one and some of the experience that you've got in the team?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure we had a good spine. For me, the spine of the side, that centre back, centre midfield, centre forward, is always really important to have. And when we were looking at what we needed, leadership and character was very high on the list in terms of players in those positions. And Brewster then comes very, very near the top of that list. When you're looking for people who've got that, he's just a born leader. He talks well, he drives standards, he leads by example. If you looked at the way he pressed and harried and worked today, he's fit, he's strong, he's good on the ball, he knows what he's good at, and he makes the most of that. And he's brilliant around the dressing room. He's a really good, he's one of that group who's a natural captain. You know, I know it's Leesy and Shep, but Bruce doesn't need an armband to have an impact and have influence, and we've seen that all the way through pre-season. Thought it was really did think him and Shep were superb today.
And obviously we've had the fixtures announced now, so we know that we've got Colne in the FA Cup, and then we start at Newcastle Town away. Thoughts on those two to open the season?
Colne will be tough place to go. Stuart Mellish side. We know they'll work hard. I watched them last night. We'll go and have a look at them on Tuesday. Benefit of them being in the councils, get a couple of chances to see them. So we'll do as much preparation as we can for that. But the reality is, it's an FA Cup game against a side who'll be hungry, have a bit through the teeth. They've got a good blend of youth and experience, so we need to be at it. We need to be on our game, as you do any point in the season. But it's a game that we should go into with realistic view of progressing. It's a tough draw, but it's a winnable fixture. So we've got to get right. We've got to prepare right, which is massive for us. It's why we've chosen to have 2 training sessions next week instead of a friendly, to make sure that preparation is right. It's more important for me that we get the FA Cup win and we go into our season in good spirits than we host an extra friendly. And then Newcastle will be a really difficult game. I've not really had a chance to see them yet. We'll do what we can next weekend, but it's Neil Baker's side, and Neil Baker's sides are well drilled, well organised, normally big, strong sides. I spoke to Richard Brodie about Glossop played them last weekend and had a little bit of kind of high level intel from them, and that will be a tough fixture, but it will be on a good surface. It will be a good time to play in Newcastle, and it might well be a bit of a kind of reality check about where we really are against a side who, I would put on kind of a similar level to us, not one of the big hitters in the league, but a side who will look to try and bloody a few noses and try and do what we can.
And then last of all, sort of a bit off topic, I suppose, but really, the announcement that's been made the last couple of weeks around partnering up with Upper Mill and how that affects, and obviously we know you've been quite instrumental in that partnership. Just how does that impact you and your team, and what's your thoughts on it overall?
So I was a massive advocate of this, and as you know, put a lot of time and effort into trying to work out how the partnership can work, and it's much more than just a ground share. I mean, that's the headline, that's the thing, that one of the things that appeals to Upper Mill. But one of the things that really appeals to me is from a footballer's side, and that's where my focus has been. And my biggest concern has always been that at Mosley we don't have a reserve team, we don't have an under-21s team. We've got the ESPFA squad, and we've got some good players in that side, but the jump from that level to the first team is huge. And we saw Callum Thistleton come in and be involved in the squad last weekend, and that's great. But he's been involved in training with us. But Callum needs to play some adult football, and we just haven't got a route for that. There's no route for Mosley juniors into adult football. So this link now gives us an opportunity to look at players like Callum, to get them to work with Upper Mill and play. They've got some excellent coaches. They've got 3 teams playing in the Manchester League. Gives players like that an opportunity to go and play adult football and get them ready for our level. And equally, Upper Mill have got some very good players in their first team, and Tank and I have already been talking about players who might be opportunities to dual register both ways. That players can, when they need games, might go to Upper Mill. Some of Upper Mill's better players who've got ambitions to move through the leagues and are showing promise and potential and ability might be able to come and play with us. So there's an awful lot of benefits and upside, and we will experience it, and we'll kind of work it through, and we'll find out how it works for both parties. But I can only see upside. I think it's a brilliant partnership, and if you look at what Radcliffe have done, and we kind of unashamedly stole a whole load of what Radcliffe have done on this, they seem to be making it work really well with Tottington, and we're looking to kind of emulate that.
Thanks, David.
Cheers, Nathan.